Good morning. Happy Thursday. Welcome on into Let's Bet It. I have the pleasure today of being joined by the one and only Howard Bender. How are you today? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for inviting me here to co-host with you. I feel incredibly special. I did say that the Pickswise people did not get me my Pickswise polo in time, so
Oh,
I'm good right here. I've got that. I've got
I
that.
like
And in
your I
case
like your outfit right now.
and in case you
Great.
get a little homesick, a little lonely, well then guess what? Hi. It's me, Jared. Let's bet some Murphys.
Honestly, how long did that take you? Get that out of here. That's kind of scary.
What? Come on.
He comes with the props today, people. You love to see it. Oh my gosh, that is actually so great. Maybe at like times during the show, we can just pop that into the screen like out of nowhere just to have it. What do we think?
Like like a what would Jared do sort of a thing?
WWJD. Love that. What would Jared do? Howard, NFL already getting started. I know we have, training camp, all that jazz, but there's a Hall of Fame game tonight. And then preseason resumes next Thursday. It's the Raiders, though, taking on the Jags. The line is set 2.5. Raiders are the favorites. And the total is set at 30.5. I mean, it's happening. The NFL is here. Do you bet on preseason games or do you kind of stay away?
Yeah, I usually tend to stay away from the preseason action. As exciting as it is to do it, like I get asked this, about daily fantasy sports all the time. You don't know who's playing. You don't know who the coaches want to take the longest look at. If I were to like lay down some action on this, I'll always take the side getting the points. Like I'll take Jacksonville getting the 2.5 here because, I mean, does either team really want to tip its hand too early? They're not going to throw in Derek Carr to Devontae Adams over and over and over again. So it's a tough bet to make, but super exciting though, definitely.
I know. We got NFL back and better than ever, baby. The 2022-23 season right around the corner. It's crazy. We have a lot to talk about today, though. Our Better Up segment. And then we're having your buddy Andrew Cooper on from Fantasy Alarm to talk NFC South player props and our expectations for the NFC South this season. Tom Brady. Just saying. What I've learned is never bet against the one and only TB, my friend. But first, let's get into some MLB action. So I do this every day. I have this special place that I get these trends from. And I want you to tell me, is the trend going to be your friend? Are you going to fade the trend? Or are you going to pass on the trend? I have 4 of them for you. So the first one, Pirates run line. The Brewers are 0-8 in their last 8 as a favorite on the run line following a loss. Are you going to friend this trend or fade this trend?
It's so tough to fade the trend knowing that Pittsburgh is so bad, but Milwaukee is definitely struggling a ton. Pittsburgh came back and really just kind of peppered Corbin Burns a little bit. So I guess in this one here, Pittsburgh trying not to be too disrespected. I'll let the trend be my friend.
Ooh, trend is your friend. I love it. Okay, how about this
Why
one? Mets
not?
Braves. Nerfy. No runs first inning. Mets 8-0 to the Nerfy in their last 8 as home favorites.
I'm definitely letting the trend be my friend here. Kyle Wright versus Carlos Carrasco. These games between the Mets and the Braves gonna be super, super tight, right? I mean, both teams made whatever adjustments they needed to make for the playoff run. They're competing for the divisional title here. I saw that obviously Atlanta doesn't give up a ton of runs in that first inning. The Mets are kind of like middle of the road there, so. I will, let that trend be my friend, and I'll take that Nerfy.
We got 2 friends, baby. How about number 3 here? Cardinals versus Cubs. Nerfy. No runs first inning. Cubs 7-0 to the Nerfy in their last 7 on the road.
I'm gonna go against that one here. I think that
Yeah.
St. Louis really needs to like really kind of pound it here. They came up short in that Juan Soto sweepstakes that they had, and I think that now with Goldie, Arenado, they did get rid of Harrison Bader, which I'm not really that sure if that was a great move or not for them. But I feel like they just need to come out. They need to pound the Cubs as much as possible. Obviously, this is a big rivalry game here, so I'm going to give that edge to St. Louis, and I will unfriend that trend.
Unfriend. So we have 2 friends, 1 unfriend. Last but not least, Dodgers run line. The Giants 0-11 on the run line in their last 11 versus NL West teams.
The Giants have been so bad lately too.
So bad.
So bad. I'm gonna have to let the trend be my friend here. I'm gonna side with the Dodgers. I mean, it's just even though it's another heated rivalry between LA and San Francisco, I mean the Dodgers there's just too much firepower there. There's really not enough on that Giants side here. So I guess I got 3 friends and one getting rid of.
Getting rid of 1 friend, but we have 3 new friends heading into our picks for Major League Baseball. I'm actually betting the Dodgers-Giants game, but a little bit differently. I'm betting the Nerfy in this game at -118. It's 2 elite pitchers on the mound. I know the Dodgers have Clayton Kershaw, 7-3 record, 2.66 ERA. The guy's an absolute stud. I think he's going to be able to shut down what is kind of a lackluster offense for the Giants in the first inning, at least. And Jake Junis on the other side, he has a 4-2 record, 2.78 ERA. The Dodgers do have one of the best lineups in baseball. But if you look at their record, they're usually starting a lot of these games slow. And my boy Jake has the first inning edge here, in my opinion. I think it's going to be a pitcher's duel. It's a good setup for the Nerfy. And only laying 18 cents for it, lock me in on it, baby. I know, Howard, that you bet a lot of totals, especially this Major League Baseball season. You have 1 over and 1 under that you like. So please hit me with them. Why do you like the over? Why do you like the under?
All right. Well, I mean, because first of all, betting the overs and the unders are really where you kind of want to hang out right now. There's no value on money lines right now in MLB. You take a look at them. Just for an example, you had the Padres, who were never more than a -225 favorite throughout the entire season. Now, post trade deadline, you can't get them for under -280 on a money line, and we're seeing that kind of separation right now, with the books doing all of that. So. And even on the run line, it gets a little tricky there as well. So the over-unders, you're still getting some good value on there. If you know the pitchers and you know the bullpens, that's kind of where you want to linger here. So I like the over in Oakland against the Angels right now. And the Angels are just in a tailspin, just a mad, crazy tailspin. Oakland has been surging a lot lately. They've been scoring a lot of runs in the last couple of weeks of this game. I kind of liked Oakland on the money line at +100, but I think the safer bet to make is just to invest in the run scoring with these 2 teams. Take the over 8 and look for those bullpens also to kind of get a little shaky. And then the under, I mean, how do you like TB in football? I like JV in baseball, baby. Give me all the Justin Verlander. Give it to me on the regular here. It's 8 runs on the and it's -115 on the under. Zach Plesac, not the greatest in the world, but I think that if you're looking at 8 runs here, this could end up being like a 6-1 game, 6-0 game. I think JV takes care of business.
JV takes care of business. Speaking of business, we got business to talk about in the NFL because, I mean, there's a game tonight. Preseason officially starts next Thursday. I cannot even wait to get this thing going. We've been breaking down the AFC South. Now we have the NFC South today. So let's bring in Andrew Cooper, lead NFL analyst for Fantasy Alarm, well, to chat NFC South preview, player props. Andrew, happy Thursday. How are you?
Happy Thursday. What's up, gang? Hey, I could have sworn I saw Jared on here earlier. Where did he go?
I'm right here.
There he is. Dude, he's back.
Joining us today.
Honestly,
hey, thanks for having me, Jared.
You need to blow up the head a little bit. We always talk about how Jared has a big head, big face. That's a little too small for the screen. Doesn't quite fill it out.
I couldn't get the quality print job on it here. For that. And I'll tell you what, though, I hold this up right now, and I actually feel less like the ugliest person in the room, right? I mean,
oh my gosh, you're not the ugliest person in the room. You're not.
Well, somebody had to have Jared's back after you called him a big head, so,
That's true. Andrew, we have NFL starting tonight. It's crazy with the Hall of Fame game. What's your advice for people, I guess, trying to find season-long player props to bet on before the regular season starts. Do you bet a lot of season-long player props?
So I mostly do fantasy, but I do bet season long props. Every once in a while, I'll take a stab on a weekly prop if I really like matchups. But my advice for season long props is to use fantasy football to your advantage and also use the props to your advantage in fantasy football. What I like to do is pull up a big list of, say, the wide receiver receiving yards and compare that to ADP and find where the market efficiencies are, and also see where the sentiment is high or low on a player, because Vegas is basically trying to call it down the middle, get people betting on either side, right?
Mhm.
So they don't really care about getting it exactly right. So a big example from last year is we looked at some ADPs for wide receivers. It was Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, all going in the sixth round, right back to back to back. But then when you look at Vegas at the over under yards, they had Ayuk at like 800 and both the Bengals guys at 1,000. So you got to sit there and say to yourself, one of these groups is wrong. Either Vegas basically has this wrong, or the fantasy does. And in the end of the day, Ayuk's over under was like 825 yards. He finished with 826. T. Higgins was just over 1,000. He finished with just over 1,000. So Vegas was right. You could have taken advantage of that in fantasy. With some of the other ones, you could have taken advantage of it betting, like Brandon Cooks, for instance. Vegas liked him. Fantasy football didn't. Turned out Vegas was right again. So I take advantage of it on both sides, really.
Yeah, I like that. Do you bet preseason props or
You
totals,
know,
or do you kind of stay away from it?
I stay away from it. I
Yeah,
love
we all
I
do.
love watching it. The thing is, I'm such a football nerd that I'm like excited to see the guys that are like third and fourth and fifth on the depth chart. Me and Howard are in that Sirius XM fantasy dynasty league. It's brutal. So it's like we're watching. I got guys on my roster that
Ooh.
aren't even on teams right now. So I'm definitely interested in the bottom of the depth chart, but not so much gambling. It's too risky.
Yeah, I know. It is tough because you never know who's going to get the most minutes, etc. So we like to play this game here on Pickswise called Red Hot Chili Proppers. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a player season prop, and both of you guys give me like a 15 to 30-second reason on why you take the over or the under for that prop. So Howard, I'm coming to you first. I'm looking at Christian McCaffrey over under 1,595 and a half rush and receiving yards. Mr. Benda, what do you think? Over, under, and why?
I mean, the safe play has got to be the under on this one here. McCaffrey's done it once. He's been injured the last 2 seasons. You can't predict injuries. You don't want to bank on injuries. But when you look at somebody's track record and you look at the mileage on those tires there for Christian McCaffrey, you have to look and expect him to miss a couple of games. 1,500 rushing and receiving is a tall order for him, because he's only gone over 2,000 once in his time. So I'll lean on the under here.
Andrew, what about you?
Boring, Howard. Come on, dude. This is the most exciting player in the game. And here's my thoughts on this, both for fantasy and this guy's healthy right now. I'm not going to try and play Dr. Fortune Teller and guess like which guy is going to get hurt this year. If you think all RBs are, injury prone, you might as well go 0 RB, bet the unders on everybody. I mean, last year only like 7 guys that started played every game, and one of them was Zeke on a torn PCL. But for me, I look at Christian McCaffrey and this line of 1,600, and it has a couple games missing baked in. The last time he was healthy, like you said, Howard, he did go over 2,000. So it's basically, I think that this guy is highly capable of this, even if he misses a couple games. So for me, I like betting the over on this. And in general, I kind of skew under on player props because, I think something like 65% of them, or maybe even 70% of them, do go under. Injuries factor in, like you said, but on this one, I'm over.
Yeah, I like it. Christian McCaffrey, it's going to be exciting to be seeing him healthy, at least at this point. I don't want to jinx anything. I'm knocking on wood throughout this season. Okay, I'm sending it over to Michael Thomas now, another exciting player. Over under 70 and a half receptions for MT. Andrew, what do you think?
So honestly, man, it's the same situation for me here. This is a guy that we've never seen be bad. We've only seen him be hurt. And right now, everything coming out of camp says that he looks amazing. He's participating in 7-on-7, 11s. I mean, 70 receptions. That essentially, with his catch rate. Let's say it even goes down a bit with Jameis Winston instead of Drew Brees, which it probably should, because Drew Brees is one of the most accurate guys of all time. But I mean, we're talking about 100 to 110 targets. Like for a guy like Michael Thomas in a 17-game season, I feel like that is extremely doable. And Jameis Winston, we know he threw 30 picks in a season, but in that same season, he threw 33 touchdowns and supported 2 wide receiver ones. So I see no reason that we wouldn't like Michael Thomas. I see no reason that we wouldn't like Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, Howard, are you on the same page or are you going under?
Yeah, no, I'm on the same page here. I like the over on Michael Thomas. I was watching some film on him the other day. Looks like, it was like a couple of struggles to cut and run, during some drills, but you kind of expect that coming off of the ankle surgery, multiple ankle surgeries, for that matter. But I think, over the course of a month, I think that Thomas is going to be fine. You look at this scheme that they run in New Orleans, right? And Carmichael's the offensive coordinator still. He's been there for 15 years. This scheme dictates massive targets to the X receiver that is Michael Thomas. I love Jarvis Landry, as Coop just mentioned as well. But you're talking about a guy who, for the first 3 years of his career, you were talking about 100, 120 receptions was the norm. So to bring it that low at 70. To me, I feel like that's kind of an extreme exaggeration based off of the injury. So I'll take Thomas on the over for sure.
Thomas on the over. Another Thomas that we like to call Tom, Mr. Brady himself, the good old TB, 45 years old, looking like he's no older than 28, 29. It's actually wild. What about him, Howard? Over under 4,650 and a hook pass yards for Tom Brady.
Tom Brady does not want to throw the ball 700 times again this year, right? They don't want to do it. Now, there are concerns with Ryan Jensen going down in the interior offensive line and really what's going to happen there with them doing it. But Brady's only hit the over on this 4 times, in his career and twice in the last 9 seasons. So, why are we looking at it? Because he had such an amazing season last year where he threw for 5,000 plus yards. Are we overestimating that? I think here in the twilight, for, what was it, 46.50 and a half, I'm probably going to, tilt on the under for this one here, because I do think that Brady wants to have a lot more, running game here for the Bucks, and that's going to be more for Leonard Fournette.
Do you agree, Andrew? Because I know I disagree with this one. I actually bet this.
Of course you do.
Well, you know what's crazy here is that I'm in the middle because Howard's a Jets fan. He likes to bet against Tom. I know you're a Tom fan. I'm a Tom Brady fan. I got him hanging out with me right here. But
yes, let's go.
Let's go, baby. Yeah, TV, the GOAT. But that said, I have to bet the under. I got to take the under on this one, and the reason I know. You want me to change it?
No, it's okay. You could go, and I'll tell you why.
The reason being is we look at some of these seasons that produce these high pass yard years, and it's out of necessity a lot of times. Like the biggest example, Peyton Manning, 2004, was like crushing. He threw like 49 touchdown passes. The team won 12 games. The next year, they won 14 games. The team was even better, but he threw under 4,000 yards because it was just an easier path. It was a lot more running, a lot more defense. When you look at the like over under season win total for this team, it's the highest of any team in the league, or tied for highest, 11.5. I think with this division, it's bad, right? I mean, they have some tough teams on the schedule. I know they play the Chiefs and the Bills, but this division is going to be a cakewalk. I mean, I really don't see another team winning it. So for me, I think this ends up being a year where they just kind of gear up for the playoffs, and I don't see it being one where Tom just goes crazy. So that's why for me, I take the under on this one.
Yeah, I'm taking the over just because one thing that I've learned is to never bet against Tom Brady. Like, this dude is not human. He's 45 years old. And he's playing like he did when he was 30, if not even better, right? Like, most people go to Florida to live out their old years. He's getting younger down there. I don't know how that's happening. But in his 2 seasons,
he's going to Florida for spring break, right? Like, that's what it's like for him down there. Like, he's getting younger down there.
PCB partying it up at this point.
Yeah.
But in his 2 years at the Bucs so far, he's thrown for just under 10,000 yards, 9,949 passing yards. He led the NFL in yardage last year, 5,316. He's gone over his total in both years so far with the Bucs. In 3 of his last 5 seasons, I know you guys say, like, maybe he's not going to be doing it as much this year. I think he is. I think this guy wants to go out on a high note. And who knows if this is going to be his last year? Who knows if he's going to play until he's 50 years old? But he's 45, and he wants to show people, dude, I'm not 45 years old. I still got this. I'm still the best player in the NFL right now. And fun fact for you guys, every year that Jennifer Lopez has gotten married, Tom Brady has won a championship. Well, guess who just went to Vegas on July 18th and has now become Mrs. Jennifer Lynn Affleck, the one and only J-Lo. Do I smell another Tom Brady championship coming this year? It's happened 4 times so far.
If you're banking on Benifer, come on. If you're banking on Benifer to lead Tom Brady to the Super Bowl,
I'm telling you, is the trend your friend? It has happened 4 times. Every single time that Jennifer Lopez has gotten married, Tom Brady has won the Super Bowl.
The Benifer Brady corollary. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that anywhere else, folks. This is where you come for the hard hitting analysis.
The hard hitting analysis. I'm just saying.
Ben Affleck's from Boston. I mean, it's the ties go deep on this one.
Was it Agassi? Was it Agassi with Brooke Shields that like he couldn't win a tournament, but as soon as they split up, Andre Agassi started winning again in tennis? Is this the correlation that we're supposed to be making here?
That's what it is.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
Brady can't focus when she's off the market. Once she gets linked up, he's like, all right, back to work, you know?
Yep. Okay. They went to Vegas. They got it done. J-Lo got married just so Tom Brady could win another Super Bowl. You heard it here. August 4th, 2022. Tom Brady is winning the Super Bowl this year because Jennifer Lopez got married. That's all I got to say about that. Guys, okay. Another game we like to play here is Let's Guess It on Let's Bet It. So here's how it's going to work. I have 2 player props. I'm going to tell you the name of the player and the prop that I want to know, and you guys give me a number of what you think it's going to be. No cheating, no looking, okay? Whoever's closer wins a whole lot of dignity. You ready?
Ready.
Drum roll. Howard, I'm coming to you first. Jameis Winston interception prop. What do you think it's set at right now?
Oh, I'm going to say that his interception prop is at 21.5.
Wow.
Okay. Andrew?
That's a spicy number. I mean, last year after he got LASIK, he only threw 3 interceptions, but he didn't play the whole season. I don't think it's
LASIK wonder.
New leg, new eyes, new Jameis, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be under that. I'm gonna go with 16. 21 is so many picks.
It's 13.5. Ding, ding, ding.
13.5. Wow.
13.5.
The season leader. The season leader last year, Trevor Lawrence and Matt Stafford tied last year with 17. So that's a low number for any given year, but that was last year, 17. We just did it in our. If you go on Fantasy Alarm, the stats you need to know page, Howard. There's an article up there with all that stuff right now. A little plug action. Yeah.
Okay, other one that I have for you. Kyle Pitts touchdown prop. Andrew, what do you think it is?
Oh, it's supposed to be the tight end, guys, Howard. This is he had 1 last year. He had 1. You too, buddy. Like he had 1 last year, so they can't be bumping it up to like 10. I'll go with 6. It's Marcus Mariota. He only had 1 last year. I'd say 6.
Howard, what about you?
4.5.
Wow, it is 4.5.
Wow, Howard. The tight end whisperer. He's back.
He was doing some research on props that he liked for this season here in the NFC South.
Oh my gosh.
All some homework.
Saying, we're doing some research. He knows, baby. So that wasn't really a cheat. It wasn't really.
Hey, real quick, Howard, do you like the over? Do you like the over or under on that?
I like the over, actually. I do. And if we're talking about like Kyle Pitts, and because I think he's, his receiving yards prop is at like 900 right now. I think 900.5 is what Pitts' receiving yards props are. So I feel like with him and Drake London being really legit, the only 2 viable targets that, Mariota and or Desmond Ridder are going to focus on, I like the over for Kyle Pitts' props on touchdowns and receiving yards.
Yeah, I like it. I also know that you have a couple other bets, Howard, that you like this season with the NFC South. Who else are you high on right now? Or is it just normal bets right now for you?
Well, no. I mean, there are a couple of them there. The Baker Mayfield situation in Carolina is, it's, obviously I think he wins out this job. They're still calling it a competition, but they've got him at like 3,800.5, passing yards. And I just don't see it. I mean, I think that the number is bumped up a little bit because they think that the dump offs to McCaffrey are going to rack up enough yardage there. But I mean, I don't think he's gone over that once in 4 years with Cleveland. And you could say that Cleveland was a run first team. Recently they were, but they weren't when Baker first started, and they were trying to get him to chuck the ball around a little bit more. I just don't think he's a good passer. I really don't. And I think he's got DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall Jr., Robbie Anderson. Like, these are not receiving weapons here. So I think I'm looking at the under for Baker Mayfield there. And to piggyback my Christian McCaffrey under his rushing and receiving yards, his rushing touchdown prop is 8.5. Like, if you gave me 8.5 as his receiving yard touchdown prop, I might actually consider it. But I got to hit the under here on 8.5 rushing touchdowns for McCaffrey. He's just not about that life.
Yeah, and you like Michael Thomas over receiving yards. Did you like his over receptions too? I can't remember what you said.
I did. Over 70 receptions. His receiving yards are only 800.5. Like, I'm sorry, but if this dude's going over 70 receptions, this dude's going over 800 yards, no doubt.
Yeah, I like it. Andrew, do you have any season-long player props that you're getting in on early here in the NFC South?
Yeah, I do. Right now, one that so I'm also in on that Baker under one. I think the number that I saw previously was 3,800, somewhere around there, right? Like, he's never thrown 4,000. Like, yeah, with a team he's familiar with, so it seems kind of crazy to me. One I do like is, fading the public, right? That's what we talked about, where you try and find where the public is down. Vegas preys on that. That's what they want, right? We want to be on the other side of that. So for me, I look at Julio Jones, and they have him at like 550 yards. That's it. And we're talking about, if he's healthy, and that's obviously tough. But Antonio Brown last year, at age like 34, whatever it is, while being literally crazy, had 550 yards. He's outside of his mind, right? Like, but he had 550 yards in only 7 games. Tom Brady can bring the best out of anybody. I mean, if you pushed a shopping cart down the field, he could probably throw at least a touchdown pass or two. You know what I mean? So for me, I think Julio Jones pretty easily surpasses that 550 number, unless he gets hurt in like the first week of the season. I mean, that could happen, but that 550 number has to have injuries baked in and the public fading him baked in. And
I like it.
550. Yeah, it's not a lot. 550 is nothing.
I like that more than going after Mike Evans receiving yards props, right? Mike Evans is like 1,025.5 yards. And I think that's actually like a really good number for him, especially considering the fact that Godwin is going to be back already, that you do have Julio Jones there, that you did add Russell Gage for better or for worse, So I kind of worry about that prop for Mike Evans, but I do agree with you on that Julio Jones prop. It does seem a little low, as bad as I think the signing is overall. Doesn't it just seem like doesn't it just seem that Tampa Bay is just kind of desperately grasping at straws? Let's get Kyle Rudolph in here as our tight end. Let's get Julio Jones in here as a wide receiver. Like, I feel like they're just forcing it too much, trying to get Tom this last event, which kind of tilts me towards, New Orleans Saints at plus 350 to win that division. Ooh.
Really?
I'll sprinkle a little something on that just to go against the Tampa Bay Tom Brady tax that everybody's paying. They're minus 250 to win the division. Fine. Carolina's trash. Atlanta, trash. The Saints did some good work on their defense, right? They definitely did a little bit of work on their offensive line. It's no Sean Payton there, and we're not dealing with the Taysom Hill experience, thankfully. Mm-hmm. And this team could actually, have a decent season and kind of come in there, and escape it. I mean, I guess Tampa Bay's kind of got like a little bit of a cakewalk, out of conference schedule there, but still.
Yeah, I mean, with those additions, right? Like, you got to think of it in the perspective of Tom Brady, right? He's 45 years old, so he looks at Kyle Rudolph and Julio Jones, and he's like, "Let's get these young whippersnappers in here." Like, Julio Jones is what, like 13 years younger than Brady? Like,
dude, everybody's a young whippersnapper to Brady.
That's what I mean.
Everybody.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's like his perspective's probably a little off on that, bringing these guys in.
Yeah, that's so fun. These young whippersnappers that are still 35 years old. It's great. Anyways, I don't know. I'm turning 30 this year, so we'll see. My back already
I
hurts, and
remember
I'm not
when
even
Tom
30
Brady
years
was
old.
playing, Pepsi was a nickel. It was great.
Oh my God. I freaking love it, you guys. Andrew Cooper, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us today. Hopefully we'll talk to you soon throughout the NFL season.
Yeah, can't wait. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
Andrew Cooper, lead NFL analyst for Fantasy Alarm. We broke down the NFC South preview for player props. All right, Howard, before we get into our best bets of the day, make sure, guys, head to Pickswise.com website. There's no 3 stars today. There are a bunch of 3-star plays for tomorrow. Head to Nova for the EPL. A lot of soccer picks going on. We do have a 1-star play on the site for the Hall of Fame game going on today, so make sure to check that out. Pickswise.com. See what we got going for you. Howard, what is your best bet of the day? Give the people what they want, what they need.
With Joe Musgrove on the mound for the San Diego Padres, obviously, I'm loving the under. No, not with that lineup there. Are you kidding me? You got Soto, Machado, and Tatis in that. It's like that's going to be your 2, 3, 4 right there. I mean, we saw it yesterday. 5 runs in the first inning there for San Diego. San Diego's going to beat the snot out of Kyle Freeland and the Rockies yet again. The over-under it's 7.5, right? I'm like getting it from -110. I'll take the over San Diego, Colorado here, and I'll lock that in as my play of the day.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Take the over, baby. Hits and runs. And hits and runs and hits and runs. Brandon Woodruff. Over 7.5 strikeouts at +110 is my play of the day. The Pirates, I know they've been feisty this week. They got to Burns. They slowed down Peralta last night before winning really late in the game. Well, I'm going back to the well with Woodruff because they cannot get swept, right? He's been great over the last month, and he's owned the Pirates, and the odds are pretty good here too, and I really love getting it at plus money. It's probably because Milwaukee's pitchers lack of production so far in the series. You look at his last 7 games, Brandon Woodruff has 52 strikeouts on 39 innings pitched. In his last 2 games, he's had 9 strikeouts, 8 strikeouts. I know Pittsburgh has the 2nd worst K rate as a team in Major League Baseball. They're averaging 9.59 strikeouts per game this season. In their last 3 games, 8.67 strikeouts per game. So everything is leaning me towards, hey, they can't get swept. Give me Woody over 7.5 strikeouts at +110, getting it plus money value because pitchers for the Brewers have sucked recently. So lock it in, baby.
Can I piggyback on Pittsburgh just for a quick sec, just so that everybody knows? This is a bet that has hit for me personally the last 10 times it has happened. A left-handed pitcher. I mean, listen, I'm in on the Woodruff pick here, no doubt. But a lefty against the Pirates has the over on their strikeout props has hit in each of the last 10 times they've faced them. You want to talk about letting the trend be your friend? It was Bailey Falter the last time, over 4.5. It was Braxton Garrett, over 4.5, and that dude fanned 11 in that game. So I think this weekend, actually, Pittsburgh is facing a lefty. You guys are going to want to get some action in on that one for sure.
Plus money value, baby, over 7.5 strikeouts. Let's go. That is it for us today. Howard, it's been so much fun doing the show with you. Thanks for hanging out with me today on a Thursday morning. Find us on the Pickswise YouTube channel. Go to Pickswise.com. That's Howard Bender. I'm Lauren Jabara. Best of luck tonight, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Let's get it. Let's bet it.